A simple woman was bullied out of the cockpit. Then she brought the B-52 back from the Brink. Before we dive in this story, hit the comments and tell us your city or country. Let's see how far this story reaches. If you like the video, please subscribe. She stood in the hangar, quiet, unassuming, just a maintenance worker, they thought. When she climbed into the B-52 cockpit during a drill, the male crew laughed and told her to step aside. "You don't belong here," they sneered. They had no idea who she was. Moments later, when the aircraft malfunctioned mid-air and panic struck the seasoned pilots, only one person remained calm. The same woman they'd mocked. What she did next would not only save the mission, but leave an entire Air Force base in stunned silence. Watch until the end. Tanya Brooks was used to being overlooked. A quiet black woman with a knack for engineering, she spent her days maintaining aircraft on an isolated base in the Midwest. Despite being one of the most qualified personnel, holding both mechanical certifications and pilot hours, she was never seen as leadership material. Her colleagues called her grease girl, assuming she was just another tech. She didn't argue. Tanya had learned long ago that proving people wrong took more than shouting. It took action. On a cloudy Wednesday, the base organized a training simulation involving a B-52 bomber. Tanya had seen an inconsistency in the flight diagnostics and stepped into the cockpit to double-check. That's when the bullying began. Senior officers laughed, mocking her presence in the pilot's chair. They told her to get out. Humiliated but calm, Tanya exited silently. She knew something no one else did. The system error wasn't just a blip. It was a ticking time bomb. 40 minutes into the training mission, flying at 35,000 feet, the B-52's avionics system crashed. Lights flickered, control panels glitched. The bomber began to dip into a shallow dive. The experienced crew, confident until moments before, now scrambled. Alarms blared, protocols failed. The pilot attempted to reboot the systems, but nothing responded. Communications dropped out. Fuel indicators froze. The B-52 was losing altitude rapidly. Back at the base, Tanya watched the red status light flicker on the monitor. Her heart clenched. She had warned them and filed a report that was dismissed. She paced the floor, waiting for someone to call on her. No one did. That's when she made a decision. She walked straight into command and said, "Give me comms." Some stared. Others rolled their eyes. But one colonel remembered her name from the Navy flight logs. He handed her the mic. "Captain Brooks, this is Tower. Guidance control is yours." Calmly, Tanya instructed the pilot step by step through an emergency recovery sequence she had developed in simulation years ago. At first they hesitated. Then they listened. Because the woman they'd mocked as just a grease girl was now the only voice with answers. As the plane continued its descent, Tanya directed them to switch to a rarely used analog override. The pilot, his hands shaking, followed her lead. Slowly, the B-52 leveled out. Fuel began to read accurately. Stabilizers kicked in. Tanya talked them through a hard manual landing, and as the massive bomber touched down, silence fell across the base. The crew exited, visibly shaken. Tanya stood at the edge of the tarmac, arms folded. No gloating, no words, just presence. The same woman they had mocked had just saved 6 lives and a $70 million aircraft. The crew couldn't even look her in the eyes. In the days that followed, Tanya's name echoed through military circles. An official investigation revealed her report had been ignored, twice. The commanding officers responsible were quietly reassigned. Tanya, once ridiculed, was offered a promotion to lead technical flight officer. She declined. "I don't want titles," she told one journalist. "I want respect and change." Her story spread across social media, sparking debates about race, gender, and leadership in the military. But for Tanya, it was never about fame. It was about never underestimating quiet brilliance, especially when it comes wrapped in the form of a black woman from rural Alabama. How many more lives could be saved if we listened before judging? Tell us in the comments, what city and country are you watching from? Take care.